Shalom, 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 brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel. I'm your brother Ananias.
Brother Ezekiel.
Brother Benaiah.
We got the mighty brother Yaku on. We are A.O.I, the awakening of Israel. As always, it's an honor and a privilege to come before you to give you this edifying knowledge, to give you more knowledge than you had yesterday. It's an honor. And as always, before we get started, we got to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, and Mashiach. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being His Son. And we want to thank them both for, allowing us to be here today to come together as a family. And happy Sabbath to you all. A day of rest starting Friday night, sundown. So tonight's class is called REWIRED. REWIRED 3 times the charm. I know it's a crazy title, but we're going to get it nonetheless. It's called REWIRED because us, as a nation of people, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, whether we know it or not, throughout history, our minds have constantly been rewired, restructured, reprocessed to be conditioned to think certain types of ways or different types of ways. I put it that way. For one, what we're going to start off with is how we were basically rescued, saved from Egypt in the beginning of the Bible. And our mindset being rescued and freed from Egypt and brought into the wilderness, we were rewired at that particular time as a nation of people. Because when we were in Egypt, just like we are today in spiritual Egypt, in Egypt, we were accustomed and conditioned to thinking one type of way. And that was built on how that nation was ran or how that city or that kingdom was ran. In Egypt, ancient Egypt, they had a different God for every day of the year. For anything that you can think of, they had a God that we worship, serve, different customs that an Israelite man, woman, and child should have not have been accustomed to. But we were taught or we were wired to speak and think a certain type of way. So when the Lord came and redeemed us from the hand of the Egyptians, He brought us into the wilderness and He rewired our mind, our thinking process. So we're going to start there. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 46, verse 10. Isaiah chapter 46, verse 10.
All right, book of Isaiah, chapter 46,
verse 10.
verse 10. Declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure.
So what is this scripture saying right here? That He declared, the Most High God has declared the ending from the beginning. It's nothing that's going to change. He already declared, He already wrote the movie and ended it from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So to speak. Everything has already been declared. It's nothing new under the sun. It's nothing new that's going to be written in this movie. It's already been laid out. It just got to play out now. So we understand that by reading Isaiah chapter 46, verse 10, that the ending of all things is already written. So from there, we're talking about Israel. Let's go to Hosea chapter 11, verse 1. We're talking about the nation of Israel. The nation of Israel and how our mind has been rewired constantly throughout history. And this is the first time that it was wired to think and to be a certain way. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1.
The book of Hosea, chapter 11 and verse 1. When Israel was a child, then I loved him and called my son out of Egypt.
So right here, the Lord is saying, when Israel was a child, meaning when we were first becoming a nation, He said Israel was a child, just like a child today come out the womb and got to grow, to learn to do all things that's necessary or required of their child to grow into an adult. But it said Israel was a child, then I loved him and called my son out of Egypt. So that's exactly what the Lord did. He came, He sent Moses to call us up out of Egypt, So it's letting you know that his son or the sons of God are the children of Israel, the nation of Israel. And once again, this is a message to let everybody know who's tuning in that the Bible is written to, by, and for the Israelites, period. It speaks about all nations, but it's written to the nation of Israel, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, God's chosen people. So we understand that Israel was a child. So we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 1. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, and verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that ye may do them in the land whither ye go to possess it.
Keep reading the 3.
Verse 2. That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son, and thy son's son, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that ye may be well with thee, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as the Lord your Lord God of thy fathers has promised thee, in the land that thou floweth with milk and honey.
So the Lord, how he rewired our minds in the wilderness was by giving us commandments through the prophet Moses, through one of the mighty brothers of one of our mighty forefathers, Moses. He gave us commandments, statutes, and judgments to live by. That's how he wired our mind, rewired our mind to get us out of the mindset of following the Egyptians. We had to be separated. That's why he called us a holy nation. He had to separate us, not only physically, but mentally and spiritually. He had to sever us from the ways of the Egyptians. The same way he calls us to separate from spiritual Egypt, which is known today as Babylon the Great or America, US of A, the land of the lost, land of confusion. He wants us to separate. But he gave us in the beginning as a child laws, statutes, and commandments. That's how he rewired our mind as a nation of people, by giving us commandments. So from there, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 16. So we understand that our mind as a nation of people was rewired with the commandments to think a totally different way, to carry ourselves a different way. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 31 and 16.
You're going to read the 21.
Okay. Verse 16. And the Lord said unto Moses, Behold, thou shalt sleep with thy father, and this people will rise up and go a whoring after the gods of the stranger of the land, whether they go to be among them, and will forsake me, break my covenant which I have made with them. Verse 17.
Hold on before you move on. This is the Lord speaking to Moses. He telling Moses, hey, you getting ready to go sleep with your father. I mean, he getting ready to die. He ain't going to the promised land. And if you want to find out why he didn't make it to the promised land, it's encouraged of you to read it in Genesis. But it said, the Lord said, Behold, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, and this people, meaning the nation of Israel, will rise up and go a whoring after the gods of the strangers of the land, whether they go to be among them, and will forsake me and break my covenant, which I have made with them. So this is the Lord telling us from the beginning what we as a nation of people were going to do. We hadn't even made it to the promised land, but the Lord was telling Moses to tell us that we were going to go off. We were going to go a whoring, chasing after the ways of the other nations. This is in the beginning. And just like Isaiah 46 and 10 said, he declared the ending from the beginning. Keep reading. Verse 17.
Verse 17. Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured, and many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they will say in that day, Are not these evil come upon us, because our God is not among us?
You see that? It said, then when they go off, when we as a nation of people go off, the Lord's anger is going to be kindled against us. And he's going to forsake us and hide his face from us. That's exactly what's going on today. The Lord ain't fighting for us. That's why we getting gunned down. That's why we killing each other. That's why the other nations is getting away with everything when it comes to dealing with us. That's why we going through all these different atrocities as a nation of people. Because the Lord has hid his face. He ain't dealing with us because we don't want to keep his commandments. We don't want to hearken to the word of the Lord. We want to do what we want to do. We want to follow the ways of America and go freak off in the night. We want to do everything we want to do. We say to hell with the Lord, except for when we in the hospital laying on our deathbed, then we want to pray to him and ask for help. But he's letting you know in the beginning that this people, we as a nation of people, were going to disobey him. And he was going to be pissed off at us. Keep reading. Verse 18.
Verse 18. And I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evils which they shall have wrought. In that day, in that they are turned unto other gods. Verse 19. Now therefore write ye this song for you, and teach it the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, and this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 20. For when I shall have brought them into the land which I swore unto their fathers, that floweth with milk and honey, and they shall have eaten it and filled themselves and waxen fat, then will they turn unto other gods and serve them and provoke me and break my covenant. Verse 21. And it shall come to pass when many evils and troubles are befalling them, that this song shall testify against them as a witness, for it shall not be forgotten out of the mouths of their seed. For I know their imagination which they go about, even now before I have brought them into the land which I swear.
You see that? So all these things were foretold about the future things that will happen to the nation of Israel, the good and the bad, so to speak. This is the bad part right now, because he already telling Moses to tell us, hey, I know you're going to go off. And when these things happen, this is why. It said in verse 20, for I shall have brought them into the land that I swear unto their fathers, that flow with milk and honey, and they shall have eaten and filled themselves and waxen fat. So we're going to get to our promised land, to our land, the nation of Israel, or the land of Israel, and we're going to start eating good, living comfortable, and start feeling ourselves, start smelling ourselves, so to speak. We're going to go to hell off. It said, then will they turn unto other gods and serve them and provoke me and break my covenant. So we're going to be in our own land, living good, living a sweet life, and all of a sudden we're going to turn and start serving other gods, start chasing the prosperity of the other nations, trying to live and fulfill their customs, trying to play these different types of sports. That's all of the Greek customs. But us being in our own land, the Lord already told us what we were going to do. So this is once again the ending being declared in the beginning. And it said, when it shall come to pass, when many evils and troubles are befalling them, that this song shall testify against them as a witness, for it shall be forgotten out of the mouths of their seed. For I know their imagination, which they go about, even now. I have brought them into the land which I swear. So we're going to be trying to justify what we do and forget about the covenant and the agreements that we made to the Lord. Going the hell off. Just like today, you try to tell our brothers and sisters who they are, they forgot. Even though you can show them fact on top of facts on top of facts, they don't want to hear it. You said you don't wax fat. Now can't nobody tell you nothing. So you're going to go to hell off chasing the prosperity of these other nations, feeling yourself, feeling good. But when them evils come upon you, you're going to remember, and this word is going to testify against you. That's how we are able today to wake the hell up and read the scriptures and find out who exactly the Israelites are, because the words testify through the curses, proving who the Israelites are. Only the Israelites will go through those curses. So from there, Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 15 just to prove that. Because he said we would break the commandments. We just read it. So what would happen if we broke the commandments? Go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou would not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So that's pretty self-explanatory. If we didn't keep his commandments, we didn't do his commandments, he was going to curse us as a nation of people. Everybody knows that who's on this call, they should know. The nation of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, we are cursed as a people. Why? For being disobedient, not keeping the commandments of the Most High God. So we're going to get one curse right quick. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 28. Deuteronomy 28 and 28.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
Said the Lord gonna blind us with madness and astonishment of heart. What does the word blind mean? Most people just say you can't see out your eye. What does the word blind mean? Can y'all brothers read it?
Yeah. Blind, unable to see because of injury, disease, or congenital condition.
Read two.
Lacking precipitation,
Perception.
lacking perception, awareness, or discernment.
You see that? That is what blind is when the Lord said he was gonna smite us with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. Lacking of perception and awareness or discernment. We don't know what the hell going on. We calling ourselves African Americans, Negroes, blacks, colors, Hispanic, Cherokee, Iroquois, Apache Indians. We lack perception. We don't understand what the hell is going on. We don't know why the world is the way it is. We don't know why these things consistently happen to us. Why life is so much harder for the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. We have been blinded. That's the blindness that the Lord is talking about. Unable to see because of injury. We have been injured as a nation of people. Unable to see. We can't see the forest for the trees. We can't see what's right in front of us. Like all of our problems in life have always been right in front of us. In the Bible, in the scriptures, in everybody's house. But we so blind to the fact or unaware or lacking that perception as to what's going on, we won't even open the book.
That's right.
We think that it's a book written by a so-called white man. We thinking that King James is a system. We think that this book was used to enslave us as a nation of people.
That's right.
Lacking perception, awareness. Won't even open the book. Won't even discuss the book. But we'll go to church and act like we're doing something, give the money, sing who blind dance, but we'll never open the book and find out the answers to life. Because we have been blinded. And that's a curse that's been put on us by the Most High. Blinded.
Let me read that last one, brother. Where it says verb, it says cause someone to be unable to see permanently or temporarily. So the Lord, temporarily caused us to be blind. Well, his chosen to be blind, right? But the 2/3, they permanently blind. Or in these other nations, they permanently blind as well to the truth and knowledge and wisdom of the Lord. But hey, this is a heavy definition to pull up. And see, and it's always good to go back to the definition. You know what I'm saying? Because as though we know everybody know what blind is, but when you really dive into these words, like the brother bringing out, it'll open up your eyes even more to what this word is actually meaning, or or the whole gist of what the Lord is actually trying to say.
That's right. But what I want to show now is not another, but I want to show this quick video that shows exactly how we have been blinded from a very small perspective, but it's deep nonetheless. Let me do it this way. All right. Can y'all see that? The jar.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. This is called the flea experiment. Pay attention closely to the things that are in this video and what they say. And then think about your nation of people. This is called the flea in the jar experiment. Check it out.
Training fleas requires a glass jar with a lid. The fleas are placed inside the jar and the lid is then sealed.
Now, I need you to also pay attention to who put the fleas in the jar. Who is doing the experiment? Pay attention to that.
They are left undisturbed for 3 days. Then, when the jar is opened, the fleas will not jump out. In fact, the fleas will never jump higher than the level set by the lid. Their behavior is now set for the rest of their lives. And when these fleas reproduce, their offspring will automatically follow their example.
So, the scientists, the other nation, the enemy, the wicked, put the fleas in a jar and put a lid on.
Inspired by a study about fleas. Fleas
Y'all
have
still
an
hear that?
amazing ability to jump
Yeah.
really far. And a group of
All right. Excuse me. But the scientists, Esau, put the fleas in a jar and put a lid on. And by putting that lid on for 3 days, it changed their mindset. It rewired them. Before, when he first put them in the jar, they was jumping out of the jar constantly. But he put the lid on. He sealed their level of thinking. So after 3 days of not being able to jump as high, when they took the lid off, they were not able to jump as high anymore. Not that they were not physically able to do so, but their mindset had been changed, rewired to having a limited level of thinking, not even wanting to try to jump any higher. And as a result of that, it said that the offspring or the seed or the children of those fleas would jump no higher than the adult. That's being rewired as a nation of people. That's what happened to us when we went into captivity. We were limited with everything. Matter of fact, let's go to Baruch, the book of Baruch, chapter 3, verse 9. Limited, rewired. Think about that. That's a deep little clip, and it was only 30 seconds long, but it explained and showed so much. It's called the flea experiment. You get a chance, look it up. It's powerful. And before we read it, you got to understand the level of thinking that went into that. For somebody to even want to take a spoonful of fleas and put it in a jar to put a lid on. Why fleas? Think about that. And they wanted to see how long it would take to change their way of thinking. That's why the scriptures say that Esau's way of thinking, or the other nation's way of thinking, is deep. Mainly Esau. We don't think like that. Not that we less of a thinking people, but we don't think on that. They think on a destructive level. But let's read that Baruch chapter 3, verse 9, and we're going to read that to 14.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 9. Hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understanding wisdom. How happeneth it, Israel, that thou art thine enemies in thine enemy's land, that thou art waxen old in a strange country, that thou art filled with the dead. Verse 11. That thou art counted with them that go down into the grave. Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom. For if thou hast walked in the way of God, thou shouldest have dwelt in peace forever. Verse 14. Learn where is wisdom, where is strength, where is understanding, that thou mayest know also where is length of thy days, and life. Where is the light of the eyes and peace?
You see
Who
that?
has
So the root through the Spirit of the Lord is saying what? How did this happen, Israel? He asking them a question. He said, "Thou art counted with them that go down to the grave. If you in the grave, you're dead. So as a nation of people, we consider to be dead, the walking dead." Said, "Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom," meaning the Most High. We have forsaken him. For if thou hadst walked in the way of the Most High, thou should have dwelled in peace forever. But we are not in a peaceful state as a people. We can't even smile, talk, deal with each other. We killing each other rather than hugging each other. You know, we can't work together. We don't build together at all. The other nations making mockery of us, killing us with 100 cameras on them and getting off scot-free. We have no justice, no peace. It says, learn where is wisdom, where is your strength, where is your understanding. That's with the Most High. We get our understanding when we keep the commandments. But our nation of people say, to hell with the commandments. I'm going to do everything but the commandments. I'm going to read all the textbooks. I'm going to read all the social media. I'm going to read everything but the commandments because my pastor said the commandments are done away with. But your pastor ain't doing nothing to save your nation of people. He's furthermore destroying it and got you dumbed down to the point where you can't hear or listen to any damn thing. It said, learn where is wisdom, where is strength, where is understanding, that thou mayest know also where length of days in life are. Because our people today, we talked about it earlier this week, our brothers and sisters don't even consider or think about longevity. They don't think about how can I live to be 100 or 120 years old. They just trying to have fun, trying to make it to the next day. They're simple-minded. We don't think for longevity. We don't think 5 to 10 to 20 years down the road. That's what the other nations do, though. But we don't think on a long-term scale. That's why the Lord tell us in Proverbs 1:20, how long ye simple ones, will you love simplicity. We love simplicity. All we thinking about is trying to have fun. Life is bigger than that. We don't even know what understanding or wisdom is. We don't even conversate with our kids. We don't pour into them. We don't expect anything from them. We just assume. That's what's wrong with us as a nation of people. And it says, but I'm going to continue on from there. Let's go to the prayer of Azariah or the three holy children, verse 5 to 9.
Hey, and let me say something on that too, King. You said assumption. That's our biggest killer, man, as a nation. Because when you assume things, you don't ask questions. Then, therefore, you can once you assume things, now in your own mind, you can justify things. You can give your own judgment, right? You pretty much leaning on your own understanding if you're assuming things, right? Now, when you assuming and making a speculation, there's two different things. Now, you can speculate on certain things that's going around in your environment, right? But assuming is basically taking it as a truth, right? You just don't say nothing at all. You assume in your mind it's right, but you could be wrong as hell. You ain't asked no questions. You ain't thought about it for real. You just going off your own hatred or your own lust and assuming and going off your own will, leaning on your own understanding. And I see this a lot in Israel. You know, I see this daily for real, you know. And you know, so we got to come back to asking questions as a people. Even all throughout the scriptures, hey, the prophets, the people of God ask questions. Even to God, even to the Most High, they ask questions. You know, so we had to come back to asking questions as a nation of people, inquiring for the truth, inquiring for an answer. You got
That's
it, King.
right. Even the Most High asked questions.
Right.
He asked us in Micah 6:2, what have I done to worry you? Where you don't want to do what I tell you to do.
Right.
How deep is that?
That's true.
Come on, people. But let's go to the Song of the Three Holy Children or the Prayer of Azariah, depending on what you're looking at in the Apocrypha. Verse 5 through 9. We're talking about the mindset of the nation of Israel being rewired, you know, to think a different type of way. So we understand that the Lord brought us into the wilderness and gave us law, statutes, and commandments to rewire our mind, to change our way of thinking and way of being. But we are in captivity now. So we asking what the hell happened? Go ahead, bro.
Verse 5. In all things that thou hast brought upon us and upon the holy city of our fathers, even Jerusalem, thou hast executed true judgment. For according to truth and judgment didst thou bring all these things upon us because of our sins.
Because of our sins. So these curses that we going through is a righteous judgment, because we were told that these things would happen if we broke the commandments. It's no different than a parent saying, if you break my curfew, you're going to be on punishment. Or if you don't clean your room, you're going to get that belt, that rod of correction. And when you do so, and they put that belt on you, or they put you on that punishment, that's corrective judgment. True judgment. Go ahead.
Verse 6. For we have sinned and committed iniquity, departing from thee.
You see that? We have committed sin, iniquity, by departing from the Most High. Because the Most High is not associating himself with sin. We need to know that as a nation of people. So if we out breaking the commandments thinking that he hearing our prayers, we dead wrong. That's according to John 9 and 31. So we got to be keeping his commandments for him to even be dealing with us. And this brother who's writing this right now understands that. He said, we as a nation of people have brought sin upon us. I mean, have committed sin, therefore gotten his true judgment. But keep reading.
Verse 7. In all things have we trespassed, and not obeyed thy commandments, nor kept them, neither done as thou hast commanded us, that it might go well with us. Verse 8. Wherefore all that thou hast brought upon us, and everything that thou hast done to us, thou hast done in true judgment. Verse 9. And thou didst deliver us into the hand of lawless enemies, most hateful forsakers of God, and to an unjust king, and the most wicked in all the world.
You see that? He said the Lord delivered us into the hands of a lawless enemy, into lawless enemies. They do what the hell they want to do. It's still happening to this day. It said the most hateful forsakers of God, meaning they're not going to keep the commandments if you pay them to. They're not going to keep the commandments. Though they try to mask it and say they trying, they're not going to be able to keep them. The Lord wrote it that way. It's designed that way. So when we think that the Bible is written to everybody, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. It just told you that they are lawless enemies. And for those who say that the nation of Israel don't have enemies, it just told you. So that's a cut. It says most hateful forsakers of God, and to an unjust king, and the most wicked in all the world. Who were the so-called black man sold to in slavery? Who brought us over here on cargo slave ships? The most wicked in all the world. This man is in every continent ruling the world through his policies, through his military, through his economy. Every form of wickedness that you can think of, this man is behind it. So-called white man, Esau. And he got his little henchmen right there with him, the other nations, falling in line, falling in suit with him. But he is the most wicked in all the world. And that's who we as a nation of people have been delivered into their hands. Not for their own doing, but for our wickedness. For us being disobedient to the Most High. So from there, let's go to back to Deuteronomy 28 and 25.
Can I get a precept on that, brother?
Yes, sir.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person, as Esau, for one morsel of meat, sold his birthright. So like the brother bringing out, that's the most wicked. So Esau is the most profane. It said, lest there be any fornicator. And fornication, that don't have to mean just sex. That's going into idolatry. That's going into going against God, you know, that's why the Lord said you backsliding heifer, you know, when he called Israel that, because we backslid against him, serving other idols. Esau, they love serving other idols. They the most profane. They decided to set Jesus Christ up in the image of them.
Hmm.
You know, that's the most profane.
That's
It
right.
says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau. And this in the New Testament, man. So you damn you Christians, like, how do you explain that? So Esau, that's a nation of people.
Mm-hmm.
Esau is Edom. So hey, you got some explaining to do, right? You got it, King.
Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 25. 28, verse 25. This is another curse that happened to the nation of Israel.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
All right. Somebody give me Micah chapter 2, verse 1. So it said, the Lord said, he's going to cause us. I'll read again. It said, the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. The Lord did these things for us to be gunned down by the police in the middle of the street, even of our own people, to be gunned down. All Israel is not of Israel, you know, because our brothers and sisters do hate each other, can't stand one another. That's that crab in the barrel effect, and it's deeper than what we think, but that's also a curse as well. But it said, the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies, meaning destroyed, killed, slain. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. We might all come down the street together or go to this party together. Police show up, we running 7 different ways. We scattering like roaches, spooked, scared. You know, the Lord did that. How is it 100 people can be on a block chilling? One police car show up, everybody scattering, running for their life, running scared from being locked up and put to jail. You don't get that when the police show up in the other nations. They gonna stand there and fight the police.
Huh.
We scattering. Think about that. The next time you look on a Florida spring break session and the police roll up, see how many so-called white folks take out running. You can look over in China, Japan, North Korea. See what happened when the police pull up. See if the people take off running. Over there east in India, see if the police pull up, do the people take off running? You're not gonna see that. But when we have anything going on in the police show up, we scattering. We gonna run, hide behind a tree or behind a car, see what the hell going on, then we gonna come back and stand there and be nosy. Or have our phones out trying to record something, rather than help the situation or diffuse it before it even get to that point. That's how simple we are as a people. But the Lord said he's going to cause us to be smitten of our enemies. And it said, and thou shalt be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Removed too. You're going to be placed everywhere on this earth. Not by your own will. Not because we wanted to go live in Alaska, or that we wanted to go live in damn Honduras, or that we wanted to go live in Russia or Australia. It's because we were brought to these places by bitter constraint through these cargo slave ships as a punishment. But nonetheless, let's go to Micah chapter 2, verse 1.
This is the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand.
You see that? It's in the power of their hand of these other nations right now. That's why they're conducting the Tuskegee experiment on our people, the flea experiment on our people, and various other experiments that they consistently do on our people, because it is in their will or in their power to do so. But the Lord said, destruction to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it. Soon as the sun come up, they practice it. They can't wait to get to the lab and put their white coat on so they can go back to experimenting with different diseases, viruses. They can't wait to do these things, to get back in that lab to start working on another missile, another gun to shoot 2-3 miles long, or a damn grenade, or a new knife. They can't wait to get back to practice their evil because it is in the power of their hand. We need to understand the true power or the wickedness of these other nations. They love to get up and conjure up wicked ideas. You know? From there, let's go to Proverbs 4:16. Just to piggyback off of it. Now, I know it might seem like we getting off subject, but it all ties back in. Believe me. We're talking about the rewiring of the nation of Israel's mindset. Book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 16.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall.
That is for the wicked mindset of our people and of the other nations, mainly the most wicked. It said, for they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. Do you not realize that the Bible's saying that it's individuals that can't even sleep at night until they do something wicked? They can't sleep unless they cause some people to fall. Understand how wicked that is and what type of mindset that is. Those are the same type of things that they trying to or have done, impeded or embedded in our mindset. They have rewired us to have that same type of thinking. Man, I can't sleep, man. I got to get this money, man. Old boy down the street, he been slanging for a minute. I know he got it. I got to figure out a way to go get that. Or I don't want to work for the rest of my life, so I'm gonna come up with a scheme so I can get 2-3 kids out this brother, so I can get child support for the rest of my life. For the next 20 years, I'm straight. That's wicked as hell. But you got our people thinking that way. It is what it is. But let's go to Psalms 94 and 20. Psalms chapter 94, verse 20. Because this is the mindset that they push on our people. Wicked as hell. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get this money. That's all our people fixate their mind on, getting money. And the scriptures tell you the love of money, meaning the actions that you put behind going to get that money, are wicked as hell. You willing to kill somebody to go get money. You willing to break the commandments to go get some money. Think about that. Psalms chapter 94, verse 20.
The book of Psalms, chapter 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frayeth mischief by law?
Frame of mischief by law. This is the other nations. What I mean by that, when we came over here on them slave ships, one of the first things that they instituted against the nation of Israel was not letting us read, not allowing Israel to read or write through anti-literacy laws for enslaved or free people of color to read or write from 1740 to 1834. You can look it up. You can Google it. Anti-literacy laws. They came up with laws, wicked laws, to keep the Israelites from being able to read or write. Why? Because they know that the truth is in the scriptures. They didn't want us to read and find out and understand who we are. So they'll rather just keep us as productive tools out in the fields, the sugar cane fields, the cotton fields, tobacco field, picking cotton, keeping us busy just like they do today in these warehouses, factories, fast food restaurants, keeping us busy to the point where we don't have time to think. If you don't have time to think, you'll never learn anything. You're always on the go, trying to get $1. You're trying to get the damn carrot that they holding over your damn head while they riding your back, keeping their economy afloat. By you constantly trying to get that carrot, you never sit down and think. You never think to build yourself up. And that's exactly how they want us. And they do so by framing mischief by law, having us to break the commandments. You know, they come up with job rules and policies saying we need you rain, sleet, or snow, you know, for production, whatever we need. And they'll call you in there to have you breaking the Sabbath. And a lot of us will say the hell with it, you know, hey, you gotta get that money. But they frame laws and then they say if you don't do or work when we tell you to work, hey, that's grounds for disciplinary action, or we can fire you. You in a state that's a right to work state, meaning we can get rid of you for anything. They frame laws, they out fighting now about abortion laws. You know, they actually trying to do away with it, but these wicked women fighting for the ability to be able to go kill. So they trying to block them from killing, and they fighting because you're taking away the right for them to kill the children. They all up and down the streets with their megaphones, signs, fighting for that right. Framing mischief by law. But nonetheless, let me get another definition for you. Because what we're talking about is rewiring the mind, and another way to put that is manipulation. Manipulation. What does the word manipulate actually mean? Let's look into it right quick. Bear with me. Manipulate. Can y'all read it?
Yeah. Manipulate, to treat or operate with or as if the hands or by mechanical means, especially in a skillful manner. Number two, to manage or utilize skillfully.
Read 3. Right.
B. B. To control or play by artful, unfair, or insidious means, especially to one's own advantage.
All right. Read 3.
3. To change by artful or unfair means so as to serve one's purpose.
You see that? To manipulate means to change by artful or unfair means so as to serve one's purpose. They changing rules and making rules just so we can serve their purpose, not for the greater good of humanity or the nation of Israel, but they frame mischief by law or to change by artful or unfair means so as to serve one's purpose. They want us to consistently work to make them product. They don't give a damn about our well-being, even though they might claim that they all about safety, prevention, and things of that nature. No, they frame law policies just so somebody can serve their purpose. That's what America does. That's what the land of confusion or Babylon does. To manage or utilize skillfully, to manipulate one's mindset. That's exactly what they have done here through slavery and to our nation of people all around the world. They have manipulated our mindset to thinking that they are righteous, to believing that they have the way, to trying to live their lifestyle, to try to live in their neighborhoods, go to their schools, to dress like, to talk like, to sing like, to look like them. They have manipulated, redefined, rewired our minds. Basically, they put the lid on us. Now, we can't see ourselves being better than them, even though the Lord tells us all throughout the scriptures that we are better. But we can't see that because they have manipulated our mindset. Think about how powerful that is. But I got another video for you, just to show you and prove to you how wicked these individuals are and how far they are willing to go to prove something or to learn something.
Can I bring out a precept, brother?
Yes, sir.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11. Let our strength be the law of justice, For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Nothing wrong. So yeah, that's going in. You know, they're using their laws and their policies against us every chance they get, not for our benefit, but for theirs and for our downfall.
That's right. Every chance they get. Can y'all see this?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Pay attention to what she's saying. This video was dealing with learned helplessness. Learned helplessness.
A need to learn, to understand how things work. It's in our nature. Unfortunately, sometimes when it comes to behavior, the experiments we perform can leave lasting effects on subjects that can be disturbing and permanent. Today, we're going to talk about the experiments that allowed us to understand learned helplessness. In the late 60s, Martin Seligman and his colleagues were doing research on classical conditioning, a process in which an animal or human associates one thing with another. Martin is an American psychologist, educator, and author of self-help books.
That's a guy who deals with manipulation, dealing with your mindset.
He earned his bachelor's degree in physiology at Princeton and a PhD in psychology from the University of Pennsylvania in 1967. This is the time and place his foundational experiments and theory of learned helplessness began. 3 groups of dogs were used for this experiment, so if being mean to dogs really upsets you, this is your warning. The first group were put into a harness for a period of time. Nothing was done to them, and after a while, they would be released. Group 2 was attached to the same harness and administered light shocks that the dog could stop if they pressed a button. The dogs in Group 3, however, were placed in the same harness and given the same shocks, but their buttons did nothing to stop it. Seligman was teaching them, rather effectively, that there was nothing they could do to escape the shocks. Once these 3 groups had completed their first experimental manipulation, all dogs were placed one at a time in a box with 2 chambers. In the side of the box they were placed in, the floor would administer similar shocks that all the dogs could escape if they jumped through the barrier to the safe side. This is where Seligman discovered the differences in behavior gained from the first part of the experiment. Dogs in Group 1 and 2 quickly discovered that they could escape the unpleasant feeling if they moved out of the chamber, but most of the dogs in Group 3 would simply lie down and whine while they were being shocked. Seligman wondered if the condition could be cured. He wanted to change the expectation.
Once again, pay attention who is doing the experiment.
That nothing could be done to alleviate stress. So he had colleagues demonstrate to the dogs and physically move their legs to try to get them to hop out of the electric chamber. They offered treats and rewards to the dogs, but even with a way to escape, a path shown, and rewards offered, dogs in Group 3 were unaffected. They had been conditioned to think there was nothing they could do to avoid the pain and gave up. The condition was labeled learned helplessness.
They said they figured they could do nothing, so they just gave up. Gave up. This goes right along with our people as a nation. I didn't discuss with the brothers a while ago, but nonetheless, we all came to the conclusion that we have all met individuals in life that have, just say we in the state of Alabama right now. Their mindset is there's nothing outside of Alabama. So they have never left the state of Alabama. They said, for what? That's learned helplessness. Oh, I can never move up in my job, so I'm just going to be all right with just doing the same old every day for 10, 15, 20 years. I'm good. Never willing to try to expound on anything in life. Just satisfied to go with the flow. Never wanting to make change in their own lives, their families, or their nation of people. Learn helplessness. We learn that through slavery and in the prison system.
Learned helplessness is demonstrated with much larger animals as well. An animal trainer will secure a baby elephant's leg to a post that it can't pull away from. The elephant will struggle for hours, even days, trying to escape, but eventually it'll quiet down and accept its situation. When the elephant grows up, it will remain secure to the post, even though it's clearly strong enough to pull free by now.
Now, just looking at this and understanding the experiment, they are able to do that and justify what they're doing, framing mischief by law. They'll come up with a policy and say, hey, this is for scientific exploration, and justify what they do. But somebody else, just say the nation of Israel, want to try something like that or do anything close to that, they going to jail because they're not part of their system. So in order to do those type of things, you got to go to them and get license, permission to do this thing, this wickedness. But you clearly see how small that elephant was that they tied to that tree. And they let it stay tied to that tree till it was a grown elephant, just to do an experiment. But they justify what they do. That elephant clearly is strong enough to pull that tree down, but they kept that elephant right there tied to that tree for how many years? Think about that. But we the wicked, and they have turned our people into looking down on each other and lifting them up high to thinking that they smart. This is wicked as hell. But they justify it, and they get all the kudos for it.
Yes, sir. I want to bring out a precept, bro.
Go ahead.
Another one. Yes, sir. A Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 6. It said, come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are at present. Let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. So that, Esau getting enjoyment out of using these animals. It's talking about us as the creatures, but he get a joy out of using us and nature, for his good pleasure. So he using these animals as experiments, playing psychological games on these animals, but he used us the same way. This man get enjoyment out of doing that. And like you were saying, hey, where's Peter, to arrest these people for doing these to these animals? But they ain't nowhere to be found,
And they boldly put it on the screen to be viewed by millions all around the world. No type of consequences. But these are the things that we have to be mindful of, that we are being rewired. They're doing these experiments not only just to study the mindset of an animal, but to use it on ourselves, like the brother was bringing up. They using these things to figure out how to manipulate us as a being, as a nation of people. Manipulation is how they rewire our mindset.
It has learned there's nothing it can do. In 1974, this condition was tested on 3 groups of human participants. Group 1 subjected to loud, unpleasant noise that they could shut off if they pressed a button 4 times. Group 2 was given the same noise with a button that did nothing, and Group 3 was subjected to no sound at all. When part 2 of the experiment came around and the subjects were placed in a room with a lever that would shut the sound off, participants from Group 2 generally didn't even try it. So what was the purpose of all this? What did we gain from learning the behavior of animals and people in different stressful situations? In 2011, an animal study claimed that animals with no control over stressful stimuli showed signs of social anxiety and depression. Seligman outlined 2 types of helplessness from his experiments. Universal helplessness is a sense of helplessness in which a subject believes nothing and no one can help them out of their situation. Personal helplessness is much more localized. The subject may believe that others can help them find a solution, but they are personally unable to do anything to alleviate their stress and pain. Both of these helplessness types can lead to a state of depression, but the quality of that depression may differ. Those suffering from personal helplessness are more likely to have low self-esteem, since others can solve what they cannot. Universal helplessness is a much more harsh impact on a person, since there's no escape in their mind. This video took a darker turn than I expected, but perhaps understanding learned helplessness can help you clear up sometimes how you feel. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing for more videos are on the way. If there's a subject you'd like me to look into,
you see that madness, folly. But these are the things that they constantly do research on. Let's go to Proverbs 23:7.
Let me get a precept before you leave there, brother.
All right.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 7. It said, the whole earth is at rest. Now, this is going to the destruction of these other nations, plus mainly the so-called white man, right? Isaiah 14:7. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow is come up against us. Talking about, hey, the trees gonna be singing, man. You know, you gonna have trees singing when this man go down. How much more the animals that this man is putting to death, right? All these they have 1,000 what you call that, animals that's on the verge of extinction, you know, because they want to hunt them down and want to put them on their walls and stuff like that. You know, the animals, hey, you got birds diving out the sky now, so the animals can't take it no more. It say when the wicked is in rulership, the people mourn, but when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Because where in the Bible did the Lord tell us to do these type of experiments on animals? You know, the Lord is even scriptures in the Bible, in the book of Leviticus, that tell you how to deal with animals. How to deal all throughout the scriptures in the Apocrypha tell you how to deal with animals. You know, you're not supposed to treat them like, you know, badly, right? Like how the world would say how they treat dogs and stuff like that. And the Lord didn't say us to do that. Let me get one more precept. This Psalms chapter 137 and verse 8. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast rewarded us. And these other animals, and when the Lord make all hell break loose, they're gonna have some kind of animal lover, right? That's gonna release all the animals out the zoo. And hey, I'm just led to believe, man, in the spirit, they gonna be getting at these heathen, man. You know, they're gonna be getting at these heathen at their neck, man. You might have a lion pounce on them and grab him out of the neck, you know, and you might be running from him. He might have a gun. Damn lion might come out of nowhere and save you. You know what I'm saying? Because this the man that put me in that damn zoo. And I'm you know. So hey, you gotta have a faith on that thing. But it says, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast rewarded us. And just like the Lord, when this nation gets destroyed, the Lord said the fowls of heaven, they gonna come over here and have a feast. You know. So the animals, they gonna get theirs, man. They gonna get theirs too. Right? You got it, King.
Yeah, just to go with what the brother said, they locked up in the zoos. Think about that as well. In every city, in every state, all around the world, mainly talking about here in the United States, it's a damn zoo where they even capture animals and got them in there and they studying them and they got them on display and they in captivity. The nation of Israel in captivity and the animals in captivity. Think about that. But let's go to Proverbs 23:7 right quick. Because in the video, they were talking about learned helplessness, not being able to do anything about the things that's going on in life. And that's the mindset that our people have today. That's why a lot of the elderly brothers and the younger ones don't have a mindset or don't even care about their own people. That's why the whole mindset of our nation of people today is about self. All they care about is what they can do and what they can get. how much fun they can have. Not looking at our people and saying, damn, we need to do better. How can we fix this? It's all about I now. I know I say that quite a bit, but it's true. Let's go to Proverbs 23 and 7.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 23 and verse 7. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee.
So this is saying, for as he thinketh in his heart, your heart, according to the scriptures, is always talking about your mind. Esau came in with the heart being in your chest, but the Bible says your heart is your mind. So it says, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Whatever you think yourself to be, that's what you're going to be. You know, you think you a slave, that's what you're going to be. You think you there's no way to help your people. You believe in you thinking on a learned helplessness tip, or you got that type of mindset, that's the type of life you're going to live. Not trying to do anything, just trying to live for yourself, just going with the flow. For as a man thinketh in his heart, that is what he is. You think yourself to be a guy like the scriptures tell you to be, you're going to carry yourself in that manner. You know yourself to be an Israelite, you're going to carry yourself accordingly. Thus say, according to the law, to the scriptures, knowing how you're supposed to conduct yourself. But here in Babylon the Great, the lid has been put on, and our way of thinking as a people has been limited to only thinking to have fun. YOLO, we only live once. You know, that's the mindset. Have fun while you can. But that's a foolish mindset. And from there, let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 49. Now, matter of fact, somebody get that, but somebody give me Jeremiah 17 and 4.
I'll get to Jeremiah.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. This is a classic precept as well, but nonetheless, it's powerful.
You want Jeremiah first?
Yes, sir.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
So this is the Lord speaking to Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah. He said, and thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage. How do we discontinue from our heritage? We over here in Babylon the Great thinking we African Americans. That's a discontinuation from your heritage. That's a embarrassment for you to call yourself an African American. That's the lowest of the low, you know, for you to call yourself an African American or black or colored or Negro. That's an embarrassment. That's because your heritage has been discontinued. The Lord said he was going to do this. Why? Because we broke his commandments. And we come over here in land of our captivity, and they put these different labels or bywords on us, and we accept them and we roll with them and we glorify it. But those names that are given to us are a disgrace, an abomination to us. And it says, thou shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and will cause thee to serve thine enemies. So once again, that's another cut to the brothers and sisters who believe that we don't have enemies. The Lord just told us once again that we would have enemies, that we would serve our enemies. Your enemy would not be beating your back and making you work in the cotton field while raping your wife. Your friend would not put you on a damn slave ship and have you piled on top of your other brothers, bringing you across the ocean, throwing you overboard, having you to throw up and shit on yourself, for lack of better words. That's not your friend. Your friend is not going to be hanging you, burning you, kicking in your door, slaughtering and raping your families, and then taking pictures, smiling about it, and putting it in museums, putting it in your history books, making movies about it, and calling themselves your friend, and telling you, you got to accept it, you got to forgive. Your friend ain't going to do that. So the scriptures is clearly telling you that you have enemies, so-called black man, woman, and child, so-called Hispanic, Latino man, woman, and child, Native American, Indian, male, woman, and child. You have enemies. Stop being blinded. Stop being stupid. You have enemies. And they are not going to walk around with damn pitchforks, licking their damn chops, letting you know that they're your enemy. They need you to continue to put out their work, to be their continued workforce, to keep their businesses thriving, to keep their economy thriving. So they're not going to come out there with mask off. They're going to come around with that mask on, with that fake smile, giving you them fake good mornings and highs and buys, just so you could continue to keep their business and economy thriving.
Right.
So we got to be mindful of these things. The Lord continuously tells us throughout the scriptures, we have enemies. We can't keep being naive and blind to the fact. What does blind mean? Lacking perception, being aware of what's going on. All the answer to life is right here in this damn book. Excuse what I'm saying? In your history, your legacy book, your history book. All the answers to life is right here. We got to be mindful of that.
Let me get a precept, King.
Go ahead.
The book of Sirach, chapter 44 and verse 9. Just like the brother bringing out, we've been forgotten about. We don't know who we are anymore. These nations, they have put us to shame. Sirach, chapter 44 and verse 9. And some there be which have no memorial. And we don't have a memorial. We don't have our own holy days set up over here, right? We have to go in the scriptures and find them for ourselves, but we don't have those days on your what you call the regular calendar. You have Christmas on there, you have Thanksgiving on there where they slaughtered your people, you have Valentine's Day on there. These things are not on the calendar that's available to all of our people. It says, and there be some there be which have no memorial, who are perished as though they have never been. And we are as we have never been now. Now it said that he would discontinue from his heritage, meaning he would be cut off from his heritage. Now we over here like as we had never been. Now we over here calling ourselves Negroes, man. When did the Lord call us Negroes in the Bible? When did he call us that? From out of his mouth. Now you'll see in the scriptures where the other nations call us that. Because guess what? You so-called black man, you hate to be called a Negro. You hate to be called a nigger. So that ought to tell you something right there.
Mm-hmm.
That ought to tell you something right there, that something ain't right. This is not my God-given name. I hate that name. So why would you go and continue to be calling yourself that and an African American? It says, as though they had never been, and are become as though they had never been born, and their children after them. So now you got a lot of people that saying, hey, the children of Israel, they don't even exist no more. This is literally what people say. That our name has been put to shame, and we don't even have a nationality no more. We're not even remembered as a people no more. We remembered as Negroes sagging their pants and shooting each other over a damn dice game on the corner. That's what we're known for now. You got it, King.
That's right. Just to go with what the brother said, we don't even know our names and we don't even care. Now, these same folks that do these experiments, that write these scientific books, that write these history books, geography books, they'll tell you out their own mouth, out of their own thoughts, after their own research, the earth is millions of years old. But your history only starts in the 1400s. What happened? What happened before then? You're going to have to dig for that information. Why are they not teaching it to you? That's the question that you need to be asking yourself. But why they only tell us about our history when we got off the slave ship? If they even teach that in the schools anymore. The only thing they teaching today is civil rights and on up. So you need to ask yourself these questions. Figure out your history of your people. Why they constantly putting the history of their people in your face. You learning about George Washington, the slighted version, Abraham Lincoln, Robert E. Lee, you know, Ulysses S. Grant. You know all them, but you know nothing about your own history. Nothing.
Right.
But let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41. 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41.
All right. Book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
Now, what does that remind you of? The good old US of A. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Foolishness. But this is nothing new under the sun. Nothing new on the earth. Read 41 all the way to 49.
The book of Sirach, the book of Maccabees, First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandments of the king.
You see
Yea.
that? This is Antiochus writing to the whole kingdom, just like a president writing or making a speech to the whole United States saying, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen, meaning everybody outside the nation of Israel, agreed according to the commandment of the king, not to the commandments of the Most High, but to the commandment of the king. Keep going.
Yea, verse 40, First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 43. Yea, many also of the Israelites
Many of the what?
consented. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
You see that? Like we said before, all Israel is not of Israel because we willing to go do this just because they made a mandate. We willing to go against the Most High, the laws of the Most High, because they made a mandate. Keep going.
Verse 44. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, and that they should follow the strange laws of the land. Verse 45. And forbid burnt offering and sacrifice and drink offering in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days.
Keep
Verse
going.
46. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
You see that? They set up laws, mandates, decrees for our people to break every commandment it was. That's their purpose. That's their job. Whether we know it or not, let me get John 10 and 10 right quick. That's their job, to basically have us going off. You got the good, you got the evil. You got the ones who's supposed to be fighting to keep the law. And you got those who going to consistently go against the law. Let me get John 10 and 10 right quick.
This is the book of John, chapter 10 and verse 10.
Is that what I want? Let me see. Yeah, that's it.
John, chapter 10, verse 10. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly.
So this is Yahushua, Christ speaking right here on this red letter in John chapter 10, verse 10. Letting you know that the thief cometh not but for to steal, kill, and destroy. Now, whether you want to believe it or not, Esau and the other nations, they are thieves, mainly Esau. They have went and raped and robbed and pillaged every land on this planet. Anything you can think of, they have stolen. Most importantly, they have stolen from the Israelites. They are what you call our arch enemy, our nemesis. You know, everything that we supposed to be doing, they trying to get us to go against. They steal our identity. They steal our dance move, our way of talking, our music. Everything that we do, they steal. They kill us. They send truckloads of ammunition, alcohol, and drugs into our communities where we get it and destroy ourselves. They feed us with wicked, deceptive music that change our mindset and have us doing wickedness where we killing each other, making whores out of our women, leaving our households. They portray us as wicked individuals in the movies. We always the drug dealers. We always the athletes. We always the man in prison in the movies. You know, they destroy, they kill, and they steal. That's their whole job. That's their purpose.
Right.
Our job is to keep the commandments and fear the Lord. That's it. And live. Their job is to make us go against the Lord. And right now, for us being disobedient, not listening to the Lord, their job is to punish us. And that's exactly what they are doing by rewiring our mind, putting that lid on us. So keep reading in that on Maccabees.
Can I get a precept on that thief?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 5. Right? Because he said in John 10 and 10, the thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. Who came to do that? Who came to steal lands? Who came to destroy people? And who came to, to kill? It says Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 5. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they have not stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they have not leave some grapes? How art the things of Esau searched out? How art his hidden things sought up? And it's talking about Esau. He is that main thief that the Bible is talking about. He's the main one who is a thief. And they're gonna steal, and the Lord said they're not gonna just steal the grapes. They're not gonna just steal something to fulfill themselves for the day, right? To get by. They're gonna take the whole grapevine. They're gonna take the soil. They're gonna take the water that's around the grape tree. They're gonna take everything from it. They're gonna take the grass that's around it. They're gonna take the pole that it was on. They're gonna take everything from that tree, that grapevine that is set up on there, right? And that's how Esau gets down. So they're the main thief that the Bible is talking about.
That's right. Let's go back to First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 47.
First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 47. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrifice swine flesh and unclean beasts.
So they're going to make us set up altars and offer swine to the Lord, or offer swine, period. When the Lord said we ain't supposed to eat it or touch it, it's an abomination. But the other nations love swine. They love it. They ain't going to never turn down swine, but they got us sacrificing it. Go ahead.
Verse 48. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all matter of uncleanness and profanation.
You see that? They didn't even want us circumcising our kids. How wicked is that? Why would they even go to that level of extremism? They don't want us to circumcise our kids. Keep going.
Verse 49. To the end that they might forget the law.
That they might what?
To the end that they might forget the law.
That's what they want us to do. That's the whole purpose of their rewiring or manipulation of our mind, to make the name of Israel no more, and that we would keep the laws no more. Therefore, they would stay in rulership. Because the only reason that these other nations are above us right now is because we don't keep God's commandments. It's that simple. And our people need to wake the hell up and stop being blinded and thinking that everything is good. It's not. They want to set up a plan to have us going against our God's laws so that we might forget the law and do what?
To the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances.
You see that? Change all the ordinances. Now, instead of us observing the new moon to be the beginning of the month, we following behind Esau calendar, where January got 31 days, February got 28 days. That ain't the way the Lord set it up. Where we ain't following our commandments or following our high holy day, we following the ways of the world. Our people follow these holidays and birthdays blindly and don't even know where they came from or why they doing these things. But when it come to doing what they supposed to do, they make up every excuse in the book not to follow it, even though the book actually has reasoning behind it. Our people will not follow to save their life. Think about how simple that is, how crazy that is. The Lord say, keep the Passover. That represents when I delivered you from out of the hand of your oppressor, out of Egypt. And I want you to do this, that, as a representation or a memorial to that, for that event. That's meaningful. That represents our salvation. But our people say, the hell with that. That don't look like it's fun. That ain't what I've been accustomed to doing. I want to do Valentine's Day, where I can get a box of chocolate and a thing of flowers and somebody can lay up with me and hold me out. That's what we want. Foolishness. That same guy or that same woman you've been chasing behind all week to get that chocolate and flowers to, they hit it and quit it. Now you left looking crazy. But had you been keeping the commandments, keeping the real high holy day, you would have been built up mentally and spiritually. And you would have built a better, bigger and better bond with your brothers and sisters of your nation of people, understanding what's going on in life. But no, we want to follow behind these wicked pagan holidays that mean nothing. Our people don't even know when they started, who started them, and for what reason. But they follow blindly behind it. So now let's go to Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. And a lot of people might be watching, they might get mad. But guess what? We don't give a damn. We're going to give you this truth. That's what you need. Somebody to give you the truth, to make you think, damn, I never heard that. I never thought of that. That's the whole purpose behind doing these classes, to wake our people up, to do some real damn research, to have some real conversations. You know? Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, giving you real knowledge out of the scriptures. Go ahead.
Ephesians, the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
We're going to read down to verse 18, but it says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. The principalities is what's right and what's wrong. These commandments, that's what we wrestling against. Are we going to keep them or are we going to follow the ways of the world? We going to go with the flow, with the trend, with what's popular? What my family say? What my friends think? What they think? What they say at the job? Or are we going to do thus saith the Lord? Those are the principalities. It said against powers and against rulers of darkness of this world, the ones who actually are in rulership. Because Job 9:24 says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. That's why anything that you can think of right now is going on in this earth. You got men wanting to, or boys wanting to be girls, girls wanting to be men, men chopping their rods off, women taking pills to grow beards. You know, you got women flying into different countries to go get work done on their bodies to try to get ass implants. Foolishness. You got women wearing green and pink wigs with 4-inch eyelashes. Madness. You got men trying to marry animals. You got men saying, I feel like I'm 12 inside, so they want to go marry a 12-year-old. All these things are happening on this earth. I just read an article the other day, a man strangled and choked a woman out and killed her and had a heart attack while he was trying to bury her. That's judgment for your ass, but that's the wickedness of this earth. You know, they poisoning the water supply. They got the chemtrails in the air, poisoning the air. Everything you can think of is wicked on this earth. And those is what we fighting against. The rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. You watch a YouTube video You watching videos dealing with the truth, but you got damn porn videos popping up on the side. You got damn women popping up in bikinis at the bottom of the screen for advertisement, trying to go get you to buy a hamburger or take a vacation trip somewhere. Wickedness. They putting all type of manner of wickedness in our music. The Nation of Israel music is the so-called black man music, the only music that downgrades his people and instructs his people to kill each other. No other nation of people has music like that. No other people glorifies killing each other. They making videos, taking photos. They got AR-15s. They got 5 blunts in their mouth. Foolishness. But who's allowing this and who is pushing this agenda? The rulers of darkness in this world. But key read, verse 13.
Verse 13. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 14. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness.
Truth.
And your feet.
Understanding. That's the commandments. That's knowing who you are and what you're supposed to be doing to avoid evil. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Stand
brother,
therefore.
Brother, you know, like the breastplate, right? You know, Esau, that's one of the first things he do when he go to war. He get him a armor for his chest. So that's like the main thing that you need. They'll get that before they get in a helmet or anything. You know,
All right.
the breastplate to cover their chest up, because that's the weak spot. You know.
Facts.
Verse
Verse 15.
And your feet shod with preparation of the gospel of peace. It said, above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
What is that? What is the shield of faith? That's keeping these commandments, knowing that the Lord said, you keep my commandments, no evil shall touch you. You'll be protected. You got to have faith in that. What do we have faith in this world? That you're going to get a paycheck at the end of the week? That's about it. And you ain't guaranteed to get that, but that's what our people trust in. But keeping these commandments, knowing the Lord going to take care of me, he ain't going to let nothing happen to me when I'm keeping these commandments. That's the faith. Therefore, you'll be able to stand, what it say, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. So whatever the wicked try to throw at you, you'll be able to deal with it because you done studied to show yourself approved to the Most High. You'll be able to deal with whatever they bring your way. That's what it means by that. Keep going.
Verse 17. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God.
Hey,
praying
the
always.
word of spirit. And like it's saying what Hebrews 4:12 is sharper than any two-edged sword. You know, it don't cut. So the wicked come at you with some old madness and folly, you cut them up with the scriptures. They ain't got no choice but to back the hell up. That's why when we out teaching on the highways and byways, the other nations can't deal. That's why they see what we talking about and they keep it moving. They get the hell on. They know that the word gonna cut. And they know we out there speaking facts. And we exposing them and lifting their skirts, showing them who they truly are. That's why they don't stop. That's why they can't compete. That's why they don't deal. This is why the Lord said, this is your, what did he say? Read the last part again.
And it says, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God.
You see that? Letting you know that's what your sword is. That's why any Israelite man, woman, or child, you're supposed to have your sword on you, meaning the Bible. You're supposed to be studying and sharpening that thing on a daily basis. So you know how to cut with it, how to use it, how to finesse with it, how to fillet with it. You know? Keep going.
Praying always praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
You see that? For all saints. And you say pray for everybody. You say pray for the saints. What the hell you look like praying for your enemy? You know? They praying on your downfall. So what you look like praying for them to get better so they can continue to do what they do. I think seen a video not too long ago. A woman found a snake and something was wrong with it. I think had got cut, got caught on something, but she tried to nurse it back and the snake bit her. Damn, it took her arm off. Now, do you have pity for that woman? Or do you say, what the hell was you doing? You know it was a snake. And the scriptures say ain't no pity for a snake charmer. So you out praying for the other nations, for them to get better, to be able to get back on their feet for what? So they can continue doing what they're doing, oppressing you? Realize what's going on. You're supposed to be praying for their downfall as a nation, as the nation of Israel, praying for the destruction of your enemy. Because that's what they live their life for, to destroy you. Not to uplift you, but to destroy you. They might not be coming out straight to your face saying it, but you got to be mindful of what's going on. You have to be aware and see the signs. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 12. We almost done.
Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 12. Wherefore, thus said the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant.
At an instant. So the Lord said, we trust in oppression. We trust in oppression. We trust in our jobs, thinking that that paycheck is going to save us, going to make us better as people. We trust in oppression, thinking that what we learn in a school system about their history is going to make us better. When they teaching us their history and hiding ours, how is that going to make us better? Going to their schools, learning their lives to make adjustments to live in their society. How in the hell is that going to make us better? They make us to hate our own people and to love them. How is that going to make us better? Our people don't consider these things. And I'm going to show you another video just to show you how destroyed we are as a people in the mind. It's disgusting.
Big Mouth NASA. 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 Big Mouth NASA.
Now, you might not be able to understand what they're saying, but they showing different interracial couples where it's saying, what you doing? And it said, I'm with my master. And got the so-called white boy grabbing them, choking them, holding them down, doing all this foolishness. And they actually agreeing to do this. Watch it again.
Big Mouth NASA. 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 Big Mouth NASA.
That's how destroyed we are as a people. All the things that we done went through as a nation of people, we make mockery of it. And then you get on there and joke with them as if it's some damn game. They got them grabbing you by your shirt, pulling you by your hair, grabbing you around your neck, and got the nerve to say I'm with my master, and then participate in it and laugh and smile about it. That's how destroyed we are, how manipulated we are as a people. This is how they have rewired our minds to think so lowly of ourselves, where we would hate our own brothers and sisters and rather deal with the other nations. And they constantly show you what they have done to you throughout history. Yet and still you reject the fact that they killed your brothers and sisters just because of who they were, and turned you against hating your own brothers and sisters, and you can't see it. You're blind. No perception, no awareness. All you want to do is have your hand in your phone and your tablets and watch TV all damn day. You need to wake the hell up and grow the hell up. This is, man, I hate to see this, man. I can't stand this.
Sickening.
You got something you want to add, bro?
No, that's just sickening, man. You know, our people love oppression. And, you know, they love it here, man. You know, you got interracial marriage going on. You know, so this is foolery, man. I couldn't believe this when I saw it, for real. They got an actual challenge called the Master Challenge.
Yeah.
They got a challenge on this, man. You got 1,000 things you can challenge each other on in the truth. You know what I'm saying? About keeping the commandments, about reading more scriptures, different things of that nature. But you want to go viral about having the so-called white man who already got his damn hand around your neck to literally and physically have it around your neck or play like he got it around your neck on camera. He already got his damn foot on your neck on the damn videos, man. Live viral. Go look up damn George Floyd, man.
Mm-hmm.
He had a knee on his neck. You don't think that wasn't? You think that was the Master Challenge? Was that a Master Challenge?
Yeah.
I'm gonna read that again. It says, "Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon." You don't know how many brothers and sisters we actually see while we out teaching on the highways and byways that's doing that. That's walking hand in hand with the other nation, and we try to talk to them. They are like they don't even see us. They have been trained, conditioned to think that we hate them. When we out there trying to show them love, trying to talk to them. Hey, sister. Hey, brother, you got to separate from your enemy. The enemy sitting there laughing while they walking like, I know they ain't going nowhere. I got them trained. They would master. And they walk by, they cleave and grab the arm tighter. When your own brothers is out there trying to show you, give you life, you reject it. So you can go back home and he can smack you around and call you a nigga to your face and say, do something. But you love oppression. You trust in it. It said, therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall. Just like a castle wall that got a breach. Or if you can't picture that, think about a dam like Hoover Dam. If you start having little cracks in the dam from the water coming through, guess what? It's getting ready to explode. And all the water coming through. Say a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall whose breaking coming suddenly at an instant. So you mixing and mingling and trusting in oppression, that brings destruction to your nation of people. Rather than unify, you consistently destroy. Trying to, what they call it today, diversify. All inclusive. You want to diversify. You want to be diversified. You all about diversity. And that's what they use to try to pull their agendas on us as a people. They pushing it in every facet of life that you can think of. In your schools, at the jobs, the restaurants, the courthouses, the laws. Everywhere you go, they pushing it. But our people are too blind to even see that. Or they see it and just say the hell with it. That's part of their learned helplessness. Acting like you can't do nothing about it. But
get a precept, King.
go ahead.
The book of Maccabees, chapter 11 and verse 21. Then certain ungodly persons who hated their own people went unto the king and told him that Jonathan besieged the tower. And this would be some of these wicked people who would go against what we got going on. How can you breathe with damn Esau with a damn hand around your neck or a foot around your neck? You can't even get oxygen, right? Then ain't the Lord sitting here trying to give you the breath of life, but you got the so-called white man hand around your damn neck. Or you got his foot on your neck. Or he all up on you got the damn Edomites who damn wasted away smelling like a damn wet dog. He all up on you. You can't even breathe right, man. So you got to get away from this filth and these abominations to even be able to get that breath of life.
That's right.
To be able to even breathe right, man. Because how is the Lord going to come and dwell with you and you sitting here trying to love on the damn nations like they gods and idols? That's ultimately what this is. She treating him like he a god. You could just do me how you want. If a black man did this kind of challenge with another black woman, they'll have all kind of shit to say. You know? But it's the damn master challenge. Hey, he looked like Opie from Andy Griffith, so he's okay. You know, but that's how these nations are, man. You got it, bro.
I wanted to bring out a preach.
Go ahead, King.
I'm sorry about that, bro. Yeah, the scriptures say hate the evil and love the good. And this is a exact example from the Christian church. They lean on master and they protect him at all costs. And now our sisters and brothers have picked up the same habit. And I was gonna bring this out right here, man, because this what happened to our people, man. Being over here in this place, we ain't got comfortable, and now we love oppression. But this is Psalms chapter 62, verse 10. It says, "Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery." So now our people become vain, man. It used to be a time when the black woman did not want the white man to be in her bed. She didn't want to be near this guy because this guy was a rapist. He come in the door and kick over the door and snatch out. Nasty as hell, smelling like dog, like the brother brought out. But they used to hate that thing. Now they trust in oppression now. Now they become, Israel have become vain in robbery. It says, if riches increase, set not your heart upon them. And that's the thing. We got comfortable because we got enough money in our pocket. Ain't nobody harming me no more. They ain't just raping me no more. I'm okay. They're not lynching niggas no more. But wait till they start lynching you again, black woman and black man. Wait till that day. And then you're going to say, oh, let me run back to the Lord. But then, by that time, it's going to be too late.
That's right.
Let's get another precept on that, King, because this pisses us off for real, man. And it say a wise man in Ecclesiastes 7:7, oppression make a wise man mad. So this pissing us off right here. They got the actual massa challenge, man. Massa challenge. So this pisses us off right here, right? We mad about this, right? This is the book of Psalms chapter 58 and verse 3. Psalms chapter 58 and verse 3, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. They speak lies by teaching white Jesus, saying that you the Gentile, saying that you not God's chosen people, you are African American. And when you like, oh, he looks like Opie from damn Andy Griffith. Hey, well, the Lord said, who you gonna listen to, the Lord or damn Opie? It says the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So your damn white baby angel on your angel soft tissue, all the damn the white baby on the Gerber baby his photo, and they all wicked, man, because the Lord said that.
That's right.
They come out wicked. They come out speaking lies. Their spirit is not upright in them, according to Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 2. So you can't keep going around with these damn other nations trying to justify them because what they've done in your life. What about it? What about all your other people? What about the pictures that we see of our people being hung on trees or being hung daily to this day? So what about all your other people? You got to stop. We ought to get out this mindset of just us, man. I'm good. Hey, you got a lot of brothers out here. They so-called good in this earth, man. What the world would call good, but they love their own people, man. So you gotta get out of the mindset of just me and focus on your people. Oh, well, the Lord blessed me. The Lord did this for me. Well, what about everybody else? The Lord was always about the people who was about their own people.
That's right.
Jeremiah, he was about his own people. Paul, he was about his own people. He traveled the damn world teaching his people. You know, Christ, he went to the synagogues where the Jews always dwelt. He went to his people, you know. So, hey, this damn massive challenge, if you thought about doing this, man, if you on this call and you thought about doing this thing, you know, hey, you need to repent.
That's right.
The book of Acts, chapter 3 and verse 19. Repent ye therefore and be converted, that your sins may be blotted out, when the times of refreshing shall come from the presence of the Lord.
You see that? So part of this rewiring, the third rewiring, is telling you to repent and be converted back to who you are, who you were created to be, that light, that salt of the earth, that your sins may be blotted out when the times of refreshing shall come from the presence of the Lord. This is the refreshing right now. Us waking up into this truth in these last days, this is the refreshing to getting our minds right, to bringing our minds back to where we're supposed to be. This is the refreshing. And we're going to prove that. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, and verse 1. And it should come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether the Lord thy God have driven thee, and shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether the Lord thy God have scattered thee.
Keep
If
going.
any of
10.
through 10,
Yeah.
if any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from this will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from this will he fetch thee. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thy heart and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thy enemies,
Read
and
that part
on
again, brother.
and the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thy enemies,
Mm-hmm.
and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee.
Uh-huh.
And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And the Lord thy God will make thee plenteous in every work of thy hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land, for good. For the Lord will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law, and if thou turn unto the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
So that is the third rewiring of our mindset as a nation of people. You know, you understand that everything was declared from the beginning. The book of Deuteronomy is in the beginning of the Bible, and it clearly told us that we were going to go off and break the commandments, go into captivity. But it said after the blessing and the curses, Then the Lord will come back have compassion on us, end our captivity, come to get us from everywhere that we've been scattered, put those curses on the other nations, give us fame in our land again, where we fruitful, and where we gonna love to serve and rejoice over the Lord, keeping them commandments. You know, and once again, like I said, it's been declared from the beginning. This is the end game. Deuteronomy 31-10. That's the end game. We gonna be back where we supposed to be. But that's a good movie for you, where you start off with the good guy is on top and he fall down. He got to go through hell to get back to where he was, or to save his people or his kingdom. That's what we have to go through. So nonetheless, this has been the Great Awakening. We are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. I'm your brother Ananias.
Brother Benaiah.
Brother Raku.
I know it was a long class, but hey, got to get the message out. You know what I'm saying? And Lord willing, you brothers and sisters who tuned in tonight and will tune in, we pray that and hope that you were edified, that you got the message tonight. You know, don't want to hold you up no much longer. But on that note, want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Mashiach. Just thanking you, praising you for this opportunity to teach and uplift the brothers and sisters. But we pray that you understood, brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, what's required, and got the message of this lesson tonight. So on that note, we say shalom to you.
Shalom.